in very good shape, and I think China's in very good shape also. You know, a lot of people think that goes away in April with the heat, as the heat comes in. The risk to the American people remains very low. Is this just like flu? Because people die from the flu, and this is very unusual. And it is a little bit different, but in some ways it's easier, and in some ways it's a little bit tougher. But we have it so well under control. I mean, we really have done a very good job. We are so prepared like we never have been prepared.
Almost everybody that we see is getting better.
This is not a financial crisis. I've always known this is a pandemic.
Finally, he's admitted this is a pandemic. The admission came too late. Well, here's the story of America. From dismantling terror to ushering democracy in oil-rich countries, America has put itself at the lead of every geopolitical situation. Clearly not this one. Forget about leading a global response. This superpower does not seem fit to participate in one, thanks to the lack of decisive leadership by its president, Donald Trump. Right now, the only thing this great nation seems to be leading is the number of coronavirus cases, 337,000 and counting. 337,000 patients and counting, close to 10,000 deaths. This is America. New York alone has reported 4,200 deaths, the financial capital of the US and the world, now the Wuhan virus capital too. But the American government's pandemic response is still work in progress. It is fragmented, it is chaotic and plagued by the rhetorical messaging of President Donald Trump, who, by the way, put out another morale-boosting tweet earlier today. He said, and I'm quoting, "We are learning much about the invisible enemy. It is tough and smart, but we are tougher and smarter." Tougher and smarter, he says. How exactly? Is piling body bags smart, in Trump's opinion? Seems like it is. The Pentagon may now provide military-style body bags for civilian use in America. The U.S. Emergency Management Agency says it has requested 100,000 of these pouches for coronavirus victims, 100,000 body bags. Let me break it down for you. The United States government seems to have given in. The death toll is soaring, and what is the government doing? It is spending money on storing the dead. Smart move or not, tough times do lie ahead for the American people. In fact, the worst of times, if some experts are to be believed. 200,000 Americans are projected to die. 200,000. 2 lakh people. Even when the most stringent of public health restrictions are in place, this is the count they're looking at. I'm not saying this, the White House and U.S. health officials are. They say this evolving crisis is going to be a localized Pearl Harbor or a 9/11 moment. And it's going to happen in all of America's 50 states. There is reason to panic. At least 8 of these states, all with Republican governors, have still not ordered their residents to stay at home. These states are Arkansas, Iowa, Nebraska, North Dakota, South Carolina, Utah, and Wyoming. Even Georgia, with 6,700 cases and 200 deaths, the governor here has even allowed the beaches to be reopened. Here's another reason why the country is staring at tough times ahead. The love for religion. Yes, it's not restricted to third world countries. In Louisiana, a pastor defiantly held church services in violation of the state's stay-at-home orders. In violation of a lockdown, you could say. Hundreds of worshippers attended. Some of them arrived in buses sent to pick them up. The pastor says emotional issues are worse than the virus. You must listen to this.
Everybody's fine. They would rather come to church and worship like free people than they have lived like prisoners in their homes for 22 days now. Nobody's been out of their homes in the past 3 weeks. Could it be that the depression and the anxiety and the emotion problems that we're facing right now, clinical problems that is being brought on by this virus, could it be that it is worse than the people who have already contracted this virus and died?
Back in Washington, a new controversy has hit the U.S. The U.S. Treasury over buying medical equipment from abroad. Last Wednesday, a Russian military plane carrying ventilators landed in New York. Guess what? These ventilators were manufactured by a Russian company that is under US sanctions. The company, which goes by the name KRET, has been under American sanctions since July 2014. American firms and nationals have been barred from doing business with it, and now the government is buying stuff. Now, Trump's critics say that the White House should not be accepting humanitarian aid or help from Russia, sanctions or no sanctions. The fact is, America is not spoiled for choice. Its options are limited, its challenges unprecedented. The coronavirus has brought the world's most powerful nation down to its knees. But there's no stopping the US president from painting a rosy picture of his failing efforts. He first downplayed the seriousness of this pandemic, and now he's making false statements about things being in control. This is the collapse of American leadership. Its impact might last beyond the pandemic.